Hello, today I'm changing the format of my video recording because I no longer want to tie my video strictly to my project. It's too complicated. Instead, I will focus on releasing videos weekly every Sunday. First of all, I'm officially canceling my first project. You probably don't know much about it, but it was a project I worked on with a colleague for about 7 months. It's turned out to be very complex, and I realized I want to be able to complete in the way I imagine it. So I've decided to switch to a simpler project. As for the old one, I'll share it in my Telegram channel. It will serve as part of my experience and one of the biggest projects I've ever worked on with another person. The idea game. The idea is that you have a cat and your task is to guide it down using a laser. Helping is distant from the upper floor. However, it's not that simple. If the player causes the cat to fall one platform over, the cat will get injured. If it falls 2 platform overs, it will die immediately. Therefore, you need to be careful and ensure that the player can protect their cat. Okay, why a falling cat? I'm not creating this game alone. I'm working with another person. The person I'm making the video with a designer and will be responsible for creating the assets. First, let me explain why a cat. Originally, I had the idea of creating a character as a minor, but I couldn't fully envision it, and overall, the concept seemed rough to me. Then the designer suggested making a girl who descended with an umbrella, but that idea didn't quite appeal to me either. I couldn't picture the girl as a protagonist, and my colleague recommended creating a cat instead. She even suggested incorporating laser mechanics, which sounded incredibly cool and interesting to me. Why black? When I was younger, there were cats in my neighborhood near the cobbler's shop, and every 5 and 6 years, as long as I can remember, they would pass away and new cats would take their place. The most striking detail was that all of them were black, clumsy but kind-hearted. Alright, that's understood. By why falling downwards? The idea stemmed from my desire to replicate the mechanics of my favorite game, Doodle Jump. However, I wanted to change something, and that's when the idea struck. I literally flipped the game. Instead of players' goal being to ascend, they must descend. By the way, that's the answer to those questions. Okay, division of responsibilities and game document creation. They have the idea, the people, and bag of chips and bottle of water. Let's get to work. We need to develop a travel board where we will collaborate as a team, making sure everyone can manage their workload, showcase their skills, and simplify the entire process. I create a simple document, and of course AI tools play the role. The game document helps solve the questions of where to start, guiding us in structuring tasks for travel for both me and my colleague, ensuring we can both contribute effectively. A bit of my work moving to the prototype. First, I had to figure out how to correctly implement the mechanics. To even begin developing the game, I started with primitives. Finally, some progress was made. On my end, I need to establish the foundation of my game, organize every script, make it easier to work with and modify in the future. If you're wondering why I developing the game in 3D initially, I wanted a 3D game. However, since I was offered help on the project, I thought, why not make it in 2D instead, and that leads us smoothly to the graphics. Graphics and style. The graphics will be quite simply presented in 2D format. There isn't much to say or show here, but I can provide the core concepts. What surprised me though is that we can take inspiration from Night in the Woods, but I will keep quiet about that for now. Okay, what has been done so far? At the moment I have created sensor toe movement, and I also added some basics platforms generation so that the player can already run around in the game. I actually used the generation system from my diploma work, which you can see on the screen. Interestingly, the game took me about 4 to 5 months to make, mainly because I had no idea what Unity even was back then, even though there isn't that much here yet. This was done in about 3 days. The rest of time I was resting and also got sick. Plus, I have another job. So yeah, that's how things are going. What do you think of this weekly vlog? Do you like it?